Growing up in Kuala Lumpur, Firdaus was raised in a traditional Chinese Buddhist household. By the time he was 18, his routine was set. He was hitting the clubs and pubs at least 3 nights a week. But instead of having fun, he was desperately trying to mask a growing psychological void. Eventually, the repetition caught up with him. He realized his life consisted entirely of working, eating, sleeping, and indulging his desires. He asked himself a blunt question. How was that routine any different from a wild monkey living in the jungle? Absolute freedom and the pursuit of vice had not provided him with a purpose. It only widened the empty space inside him, leaving him searching for a concrete reason to exist. At age 22, Firdaus embraced Islam after finding a logical framework that finally addressed his questions about the nature of a creator. A Muslim friend had offered him a simple thought experiment. You cannot actually see the wind, but when you observe the branches swaying and the leaves moving, you have undeniable proof of its existence. Firdaus applied that exact same cause and effect reasoning to the concept of God. While this framework solved his internal crisis, it immediately created an external one. He was now a practicing Muslim living in a deeply rooted traditional family. He had finally found his truth, but the resulting cultural barrier risked entirely alienating him from the mother who raised him. Instead of hiding his new faith to keep the peace, Firdaus chose to practice openly. He completely abandoned his old lifestyle. The late nights, the clubbing, and all of his previous vices stopped immediately. In their place, he developed a new baseline behavior. He became incredibly patient and took on a deep, active sense of responsibility for his family. For years, his mother watched this happen. She silently observed him, and she watched how that same high level of respect was mirrored by his new wife and his children. His mother was seeing the practical result of his belief, a version of faith that was visible only through his actions. Fast forward to 2019. Firdaus casually mentioned an upcoming trip and invited his mother to join him in Makkah. She immediately said yes. She loved traveling and was thrilled at the prospect of going somewhere new with her son. Then Firdaus delivered a harsh reality check. He told her that because she was a non-Muslim, she was strictly forbidden from entering the city. And he pushed the boundary further. He explained the spiritual reality behind the restriction. Without a shared faith, they would be separated in the afterlife. She could not be his mother in Jannah. The weight of that statement hit her instantly. She broke down crying, followed by a heavy, unbroken silence. That boundary devastated her, strictly because of the years she had spent observing him. The threat of eternal separation from the man he had worked so hard to become forced her to reevaluate her own beliefs. Sometime later, after returning from a trip to Melbourne, Firdaus called his mother. He asked her one final time if she was coming with him to Mecca. Her answer was definitive. She told him to prepare because she was going to convert to Islam so they could be together. On October 24, 2019, Firdaus sat down and officially guided his own mother through her declaration of faith. He had administered the Shahada to hundreds of strangers over the years, knowing exactly what to say. But in this moment, the emotional weight completely paralyzed him, and he broke down in tears. The rigid religious wall that had threatened to split their family apart was gone, replaced by an unbreakable bond. Later that very same day, a relative called his mother and asked her the obvious question, why did she embrace an entirely foreign religion? She bypassed theology entirely, pointing instead to Firdaus's patience and the discipline he now brought to his household. Her dedication was immediate. When they finally made the trip to Makkah, despite suffering from severe knee pain, she woke his wife and children up every morning, leading them to the mosque for dawn prayers. The most undeniable proof of any belief system is rarely found in a perfectly structured debate. It is found in a person's conduct and the quiet, enduring love they provide to their family.